So my name's Steven Payne, and I'll be leading you through this hour of code today. I'm based in Western Australia, the beautiful land of the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation, and I'm pleased to be running through this hour of code with you today. I've also got my friend Amanda in the background, helping with any questions. Amanda's based in Queensland, but she's at an airport, so she could be anywhere in Australia at the moment. So thanks, Amanda, for joining us as well. We're both former teachers, and we now work with the Microsoft team supporting schools use all of the really cool Microsoft tools, which near the top has to be Minecraft. So let's have a look at how this session's going to run today. We're running it live, but you can pause at any time. And in fact, I'm going to ask you to pause at certain times to check that you are up to date with me, and you can have conversations in your classroom. You might also be not watching this live, but watching the recording later on. There'll be plenty of time for you to pause, rewind, go forward. If you are joining us live, you can ask questions directly in this Q&A panel over here. It'd be great to know your name if you ask any questions. Maybe just to try that out, you could say hello and where you're joining from. I know we've got people right across Australia joining us today, maybe some people further afield as well. So feel free to type into the Q&A. If it's a private question, that will just be seen by Amanda. But if you want to make an announcement, we can publish that for other people on the call as well. But your video won't be recorded, and nor will your audio. So it's a one-way in that respect. Okay, let's have a look at what we're going to learn today. So we are going to look at coding using the concept of debugging. Now, if you don't know what debugging is, we'll get into that a little bit later. And we're also going to use computational thinking to help solve coding puzzles, and we're going to fix code to create solutions. And all of this is going to be done through this really exciting world that the Minecraft team have put together for us. So I'm super excited about sharing this world with you. And I know that whether you're teachers or students joining in, you will really enjoy this. I know there'll be some great conversations, some great collaboration, and I know many of you will want to go and explore further in this year's Hour of Code. Fantastic. So what are we going to do? We are going to escape the mansion. So we are going to land in this wonderful mansion, and it's not easy. Some of the puzzles are quite tricky. I've gone through this 3 times now, and I still am scratching my head, even though I've been playing Minecraft for 10 years. Wow. So there are a whole load of rooms that we have to go through, and we have to explore different rooms. There's different puzzles. We can find clues as we go along. Really exciting. So this is all based on the idea of an escape room. And I know we've got people joining from right across the country, different age groups, and some of you may have done escape rooms in your school, or you might have done them with your families. So I'd just like you to have a quick chat with someone next to you. Have you been to an escape room? Have you done an escape room, or have you not done an escape room? And then just have a think about, what is it? Share what you've done in an escape room, or say what you think you would do in an escape room, or what you might find in an escape room. So I'm just going to leave that on the screen and let you pause the video if you want to and have a little bit of a discussion, and then we'll get in to see what an escape room looks like in Minecraft. So feel free to pause now and have a discussion amongst yourselves. Okay, so really basic, an escape room is a place where players uncover clues, solve puzzles, and complete tasks. So you might go from one room to the next room, and you have a certain amount of time to do it. And the main thing, as you expect, is to escape. And that's what we're going to do today. So let's have a quick look at the background, and then we'll get into Minecraft and exploring the escape room. So we're going to play a short video now.
getting stuck can be scary. But with code, we can find a way to solve so many problems. Minecraft Hour of Code invites you to the escape estate for a new challenge. Solve puzzles in each room using blocks or Python. Code your way out by dawn to earn 1,000,000 emeralds. And discover the power of computational thinking. Everyone's invited. Download Minecraft Education Edition and do an hour of code today.
And that's exactly what we're going to do now. So we are going to do this in a single player world. So the best way to do this is to have each student with their own laptop or tablet with Minecraft installed. So we're not going to play it as a multiplayer game. It's much easier if we do it as a single player game. And we're going to do an escape room, but in Minecraft. But just before we do that, we need to find out a little bit about what's going to be involved. So our main goal is to escape the mansion. Brilliant. And you'll see there's 3 different paths. You can go on a green path, a yellow path, or a red path. And there's just more rooms to explore and puzzles to solve. So we're going to do the quick one today, which is the green one. I say quick, but it's still quite puzzling. And then later on, you might want to go and explore the yellow path or the red path by yourselves. So what do you need to know and what will you be doing today? So let's make this really clear and then we'll have a really fun activity. There's 3 things you need to know to do this hour of code. So the first one is look for gold particles. So the rooms are fairly small, but sometimes the particles are hidden. So you need to do a little bit of looking around and you'll find these gold particles that will give you some hints. Sometimes it's obvious. Sometimes you might need to get a hint or chat to a friend. The second thing is look for secret diary pages. So we're going to build up a diary as we go around the house, and there'll be clues in the diary pages as well. And then the final thing is we have to debug the code to solve the coding puzzles. But hang on a minute, what does debug mean? Well, let's explore that now, and then we'll be super ready to go and explore our Minecraft world. So debugging is all about finding and correcting the errors inside code. So you might have coded in Minecraft or with Scratch or another program and you press play and it doesn't do what you think. Well, when you go back and you make changes, that's what debugging is. You find the mistake and then you change it and you keep doing that until you get the outcome that you need. So here's a really simple example. I've got my agent at the top of the screen and I want my agent to get to the house, the mansion down here. So I've written on start, agent move forward by 2. So I'm going to run the code and see what happens. He didn't quite make it. I think you can quickly see what the issue is there. How many spaces does he actually need to move? Let's just count them real quick. So he moves 1, 2, and then he moves 3 and 4. So we just didn't move enough. So let's write out what we need to do. There's a special term in coding called pseudocode, and that just means writing in English what we think the code will be. So we can move forward by 1, we can move forward by 1, we can move forward by 1, we can move forward by 1. And he does that. Brilliant. Now, some of you will have seen a much quicker way of doing that. Rather than saying agent move forward by 1, why don't we just say agent move forward by 4 and we do it in 1 line? There we go. I found the simplest way to solve that. So that's all debugging is. You get given some code, and rather than start from scratch, you just make changes to make sure that it works. So in Minecraft, we would go to agent move forward by 2 and change it to agent move forward by 4, and we'd have our solution. Fantastic. So hopefully you are ready to try the escape estate. So what we need is we need to have Minecraft installed, Minecraft Education Edition installed on our laptops or tablets, and then we're going to log on. I know some people have a Minecraft Education account and you're already using it, which is great. You just log on with your school email address. Even if you don't have a Minecraft Education Edition account, you can just click this little green button at the bottom saying, if you don't have an account, try a demo lesson. So this is free for every student in the world. You don't need to have a license. You can just log on. So what I'm going to ask you to do is make sure you're logged on. I'll give you a little bit of time to get logged on, and then we're going to do a quick tutorial because some of you might be using a laptop when previously you've used an Xbox or a Switch or an iPad, and the controls might be a little bit different. So we're going to do a quick tutorial to navigate around, and then we're going to go into the escape room. So if I can ask you to pause the video and make sure that you've got Minecraft, you're signed into Minecraft, and then we'll begin again. If you're already signed in, no need to pause, we'll go straight into it. Fantastic. So I've got Minecraft installed here, and we are going to go and find the escape estate, the Hour of Code 2022. So I'm on version 1.18.42. That's the latest version. You may not have escape estate available if you're not on the latest version, in which case you'd need to go to the Hour of Code website and download it. So again, you might need to pause and rectify that. But I'm just going to click on new and featured, and I can see that's the escape estate icon there. And escape estate is available there, Hour of Code escape estate. Or you can just go into the library and search for escape estate, and you'll find it. So if you search for escape estate, you can then find that world, and then you're ready to play. Okay, so I'm just going to create this world. Just check it's the one I want. There's all those emeralds that I'm going to be winning in a few minutes, hopefully. So I'm going to create the world. And it is an activity that you can go through yourself, but I'm going to guide you today, and feel free to pause at any time. And then at the end of today, I'll give you a few questions and some ideas to do next. Okay, so create world. Hopefully that's creating in the background. Okay, this is not looking good. What I'll do is I'll just go through my screenshots. So first of all, what you need to do once you're logged on is say whether you're using a keyboard or a touch device, and then you will land in the game and you're given a tutorial. So really simple tutorial to start with. You just need to look around, and all of the instructions are provided on the screen. So I can look around, and I want to look for the golden orbs. So I just click on, I just move around with my mouse or with my touch screen, and I need to make sure that I look at all the golden orbs. And if I manage to do that, then I get a very simple little maze to walk through. So it's just teaching me the commands. So W to move forward in a keyboard, or you can tap and hold to move forward using touch. So we go through this little tutorial, we jump, and then we meet our guide who's going to help us with the Minecraft Hour of Code. So we meet Dr. Dodge BREAKOWSKI. I see you got my invitation. Do you think you have what it takes to escape the mansion by dawn and win the 1 million emeralds? Okay. So one of the awesome things here is the immersive reader. whenever you've got a non-playing character or you've got some text on a board or a sign, what you can do is click this little immersive reader button here, and you can then listen to the text. So that's great if you need some extra support or there's some unusual words. You can just listen back to that text if you want to. So always look out for that little immersive reader button. Okay, so I think we are all ready to get to room 1. If you haven't gone through the tutorial and you haven't met Dr. Dodge BREAKOWSKI, just pause the video here and make sure everyone is ready to go into room 1, the attic. Okay, here we are, room 1, the attic. So what we're going to do here is look for gold particles. So you'll see one as you first come in on the right hand side. And as this is our first room, that's actually going to give us the lost diary. So we grab the lost diary and that will remain in our hotbar. So you can always tap on the lost diary and open that up and get clues whenever you need to. So that's a really handy little feature of this world that we're going to look at. So it says, keep your eyes out for missing pages. There are 10 missing pages altogether. I've done this 3 times now and I haven't found all 10 missing pages. So it'd be great to hear if anyone has managed to find them all. I will try it again tomorrow as well. So you can look through all the different notes you've collected. Okay. So there's some text to read through and the note said, I'm going to win 1,000,000 emeralds, which is great. And there are 3 locked doors. I just need to figure out how to open them. So we've got to look around and remember we look for the gold particles. So just looking around, we can find the gold particles, and on the very first screen in the attic, you will come across this little character called the agent. If you've done any coding in Minecraft before, you will have come across the agent. And so what we have to do is help the agent get out of the trapdoor. And this is where we do our first bit of debugging. So I will return the favor and help you escape the attic. Which programming language would you like to rescue me? So there's 2 different types of programming languages that we can use. We normally do blocks with primary schools and Python with high schools. Python is a text-based language and you can choose either. Today we're going to use blocks, but if you want to go and explore Python, you can launch the hour of code later on and try it with Python. So we're going to choose blocks. And then we can see there's a cursor on the floor and we need to move forward 3 blocks to reach the trapdoor. Okay, so what we're going to do with each of these activities that we come across, we are going to launch the code editor, run the code and find out what's wrong. So we just need to press C on our keyboard and that will launch the code builder. Or if you're using a touch device, you can just press the robot, the agent at the top of your screen. Okay, so when you first click the button, you'll see this. You've got a toolbox on the left-hand side, and this will actually show you all of the different blocks that you can use. So in this case, we've got cursor move, open trapdoor, and on start. We can also zoom in if we need to get a closer look at the code, and then the task is explored at the top. Excellent. So we've got a cursor on the floor. And then we can open up the code and run the code. So what we can do is if we open up the code builder by pressing C and then we run the code, the cursor will move forward by 2, but we realize that's not enough. So that's where we need to use our computational thinking skills and solve the puzzle. So what I'm going to do is leave you to explore that. We need to rescue the agent and we need to figure out how to do that. So I'm going to just ask you to pause and see if you can solve the first puzzle, getting the agent out of the trapdoor. Okay. You're always given code to start with, so you can have a look at the code, and the code was cursor move forward by 2. So we need to debug that, and we can have a look and we see that the cursor actually needs to move more than 2. So I reckon you all worked that out. It's got to move forward by 3. So we just change that to 3 and the cursor is going to move forward by 3. Brilliant. But we then need to get the agent to open the trapdoor. Hopefully you all spotted that. So we move forward by 3 and then we open the trapdoor. And then we're still not there. We need to get the agent to move out. So there's always one more trick. So it's not as simple as just moving the cursor. We've got to then open the trapdoor and then get the agent to move out of that trapdoor. So you've all solved that. And then you're asked which path to follow. So we're going to do the green path together, but you are welcome to come back to this later on and try one of the other 2 paths and explore some of the other rooms. But we're going to go through the green path. So the green pathway, I'm just going to tell you one last thing. There's escape rooms. You'll need to find clues, solve puzzles, and fix code to make your way out. So just before you go down the green path, I want to just tell you that the solutions aren't always going to be clear and you don't always need to use code. So always run the code if there's code available and then fix it. It's much easier than starting with nothing on your screen. And always keep an eye out for gold particles. So we should be able to find ourselves in the study. This is room 2. So I'm going to ask you to pause the video and try and explore the study. And if you need some hints or you want to check your answers, then either continue watching or press play and I'll lead you through the options. So the very first task is to move the clay ball from its current position to the gold brick. You might need to look around a little bit. There's the clay ball in the middle and there's the gold brick. So we're going to move up by 3, right by 2 and down by 3. We can count with our finger or with the cursor to work that out. There we go. And then the second puzzle, the mirror shows us something different than what is in our room. We need to start with the lights. So this is quite a tricky puzzle. It's not just about coding. This one, we need to look in the mirror and realize that our room isn't set up correctly. So can you see what you need to do? You need to turn some of the lights on and some of the lights off. And if you manage to do that, then you're in a good position. So you need to look at those 3 lights and turn the levers to make sure that they match what is in the mirror. And then we need to match up the pumpkins. If you look at your pumpkin, your world with the pumpkins above the fire, there's only 3 of them. Whereas in the mirror, there's 5 pumpkins. I'm going to give you a hint now. The existing code only places pumpkins. So what we need to do is make sure that we add a pumpkin before we move the cursor and then a pumpkin at the end. So I'll see if you can work out the code to do that. Hopefully your teachers have the solutions as well. Maybe they've played through the world, or they have the link to the solutions and they can help as well. But hopefully we can get through this this little puzzle. Fantastic. Okay, so we've done 2 puzzles now. And the third puzzle, I like this one because it's all about this speedy knight, and they are so speedy. I like how speedy they are. We need to flip all 4 levers to open the door, but we're not quick enough to do it manually. So we get the speedy knight to help us. So if you run the code, you'll see that there are certain colors and patterns that are run, but we need to make sure we open them in the right order. So whether you're looking at your screen for the speedy knight or you're looking at my video, can you spot the order that they need to be opened in? I'm going to give you a hint. Oh, mine are working in the background. So the number of carpet squares give us the code. So blue is first, then magenta. I thought that was pink when I first did it, but it's magenta. So blue is 1, magenta is 2, yellow is 3, and orange is 4. So that's the order that we need to run the code. Excellent. So that, I think, is the room complete. We just need to follow the sparkly lines and we can come out of the room to find the next room. So I'll let you pause the video to catch up, and when you're ready, restart the video and we can explore the kitchen, which I think is my favorite room of the whole mansion. Okay, so we enter the kitchen. And if you chat to the zombie chef, I think when you click on the zombie chef, he just says bread. So we've got to do something to do with bread in the in this world. So we've got a zombie chef there. We've got some wheat, and what we need to do is, if we go into the code, we'll see that there's a certain order of things to create the wheat. But I think it actually had it. There we go. It was on the wall. There's the recipe. So we use the wheat, and then what's the second thing? Is that a grinder or a miller, something like that? And then we make the dough, and then we put it in the oven. So we just need to go in our code and correct that. There we go. Oh, there we go. It's found it there. So the steps are listed out on the wall for you. Brilliant. So that's our first task, nice and easy. We've made some bread. And then the second one that we're going to look at is the hungry house. We've got to make we've got to actually feed the house now. And what does the house get fed? Apples, salmon, and mushroom stew. Okay, so look around and you should see some movement. And they'll give you the characters will give you a really good clue as to how many apples, how much salmon, and how much mushroom stew you need. I think you can work that out. If you need a hint, there you go. Look at the characters and you'll see what they are holding. So there's a whole load of zombie chefs. And I think they just keep moving backwards and forwards, and then you can see how much of each item to feed the house. And then you feed the house. You can always reset if you don't get the code right first time. Excellent. So the third puzzle, this is where you have to do a little bit of thinking. We got 4 characters there, but all the mobs have got the wrong food. And if we launch the code and run it, you'll see it swaps the plates around, but it doesn't quite swap them in the right way. So we need to get our thinking caps on. And you'll find when you send the food, it will swap blue, then magenta. And then if you have a look at my my picture on the screen here, we've got to do one more swap to fix the meals. So we've done blue and magenta. And what's the next one we need to do? You've got the menu on the back so you can see what people are eating, and they are kind of color coded. So the green zombie has got the green food and the grey zombie's got the grey food and so on. So you might need to run this a couple of times to get that right. And you'll see that these two are wrong, these two are right, so we just need to switch the yellow. Brilliant. And then we're into the next room. So I'm going to ask you to pause if you haven't got to the parlour yet, because this has got some really exciting activities in it. So please pause and then restart when you are ready to have a look at the parlour as well. Okay, so the first thing we do is we go and look at this picture, and it's been scrambled up. So we can push some of the blocks by coding yellow, green, blue, and red. So they're going to signify which ways the blocks push. Sometimes they'll push left to right, right to left, up to down, and so on. So we've got our original picture. It's quite a simple one, I think. We can see that it's one part of a chess piece for a game of chess. And so this is where we start, and we need it to finish up like that. And we've got 3 pushes. We only need 3 things to push. Okay. So push towards the yellow. We're going to push the top one first, and then the blue, and then the green. Fantastic. Awesome. So we can push this 3 times, and we solve our puzzle. And whoa, what happens if you've done it right? That's the king, isn't it? Yeah, that's the king. So the king should fly off to the chessboard at the start, in the middle of the room. Brilliant. Okay, now puzzle 2. We're going to save the queen. Okay, if you launch the code here and press run, you'll see that the cursor along the bottom is moving along and placing some bricks, but they're not quite doing them in the right place. So what we need to do is get our thinking caps on, and we need to see, we've got the kind of outline of where we want to make our little staircase, because once we've made a golden staircase, we can then walk up there and I think save the queen at the top. So this is what we're aiming for. Something like that, where you can then climb up that and get to the top. You can code whatever you want. It doesn't have to be 3, then 2, then 2. You might do smaller steps at the beginning, however you code it. As long as you can climb up it and get to the queen, then you're in a really great position. And then once you've done it correctly and you have climbed up your staircase as a player and reached the queen, then the queen will fly off and meet the king at the chessboard. Okay, so I'll leave you to have a look at that. So we should have, when you've completed puzzle 2, so this one with the queen, and we're ready to look at the puzzle 3 in the middle, then come back and we'll have a look at that together. Okay, puzzle 3 is called Messed Up Birthdays. Our king and queen have been freed, but the door still isn't opening. They must be in the wrong positions on the chessboard. Okay, move them into the correct position so you can finally escape this place. Okay, you might want to pause there and have a little look around, maybe talk to your friends and see if you can solve this one, and then I'll give you a hint and help you with this final puzzle. Okay, you might have seen some birthday cakes. So you will see that the King's and Queen's birthdays are listed on their birthday cakes. And then if you look back at the chessboard, you will see that it's got the months and the days listed at the side. So we need to get the King to April the 1st. So we've got to put the right code in to get the King to April the 1st. And then the right code to get the Queen to May the 4th. So we're just sliding the pieces along. I might do the King first so that the King's out of the way of the Queen. Okay. There we go. So again, there's different ways of doing this. You might move the Queen in the red direction and then the yellow direction, or you might move yellow and then red. And that's the great thing about code. There's not just one solution. There can be many different solutions. Okay. So I'm going to, if you finish this last, the Queen puzzle here, I'm going to ask you to pause the video and go and complete the hour of code. I think you need to go off, and there's a few other things happening with some surprise visitors from last year's hour of code, if anyone did that. And there's a nice little conclusion to the task. So have a look at that, and then we'll come back and reflect on this together. Okay, so I've just got a few questions here that it will be really fun to go through as a class. Just before we do that, unfortunately, I couldn't get my Minecraft Education Edition working today, but hopefully you found the time agents. They were actually involved in the hour of code for 2021 last year. So if you haven't seen them before, do go and check that out. And then you had one final task to do, which was defeating the rings of light with your gamma guns, and you just had to get the colors in the right order. So hopefully you managed to do that and escape the hour of code. So what you might want to do is go back and maybe choose a different path to green and explore some of the other challenges. But just have a think about, what was your favorite part of the hour of code today? What did you find challenging? Did you learn something new? Did you use computational thinking? How might you use that in other areas of school or at home? And would you like to try Minecraft Education Edition again? I'll show you in a moment. There's a lot of things that you can explore as teachers and students together. But let's just recap what we've done today. So I'll let you pause and reflect on the activities of today. And now you're back. Let's have a quick recap. So we've explored various coding concepts and we've debugged faulty code. Such an important lesson when you're doing coding or digital technologies. You're not always starting from scratch. Sometimes you are using someone else's code and making it better or making it work in a new situation. And we've learned about computational thinking to become a problem solver. So we were presented with problems and we used our brains and we thought about how we could overcome those problems, and then we converted that into code to have those problems solved. So plenty of coding, but there's much more to come. But before you do that, if you finish the game, you can click I'm finished and you get a certificate to show that you've completed your hour of code. I've got one from 2019, 2020, 2021 and 2022 now. So you can keep a collection going of all of your certificates. So thanks so much for joining along today. Sorry, my Minecraft just closed and I couldn't do it live, but hopefully you were able to explore and I was able to help you with some of the hints. The fun does not have to stop here. And this is something for your for teachers to explore. We've actually got a whole lot of computer science lessons right from pre-primary up to year 12. So if you check out the Minecraft Education Edition website and search for coding, you'll find lots of lessons that you can use in every year group at school. So again, thanks very much for joining in today. I hope you had fun playing along and you managed to have some great discussions and some great problem solving activities. So once again, thank you so much. And if you've got any feedback, please put it in the Q&A and we'll attempt to answer all those questions. Thanks for your time.